We spend a lot of time talking about bills that passed, but sometimes the more interesting story is the things that didn't pass. All right, because there are some interesting bills our legislature came up with this year. Julia, let's start with you. Interesting bill, got some discussion, but then faded away.
I think it has to be rest in peace to the Donald J. Trump highway proposed by Representative Mike Noel. Again, a last-minute addition to the board. Got a lot of feedback early on. He wanted to thank President Trump for his decision to rescind 2 national monuments and wanted to rename like 600 miles of road in southern Utah after the president. And, you know, people have mixed feelings about him here.
Well,
mixed feelings. That's an interesting way to describe
strong
it.
feelings.
They did indeed. But why did he say that he decided to abandon the bill? It was interesting.
His, I guess, reasoning, and you spoke to him on the floor.
Yeah, he told me that it was just too controversial. He played for me some of the voicemails that he got. Yeah. And I'm not a prude, but there were some of them that made me blush. I mean, it was, we aired a few of them, and it was just a long string of bleeps. And he got angry emails. And then the Democrats tried to hijack the bill. You had the John M. Huntsman, Utah National Parks Highway. And then you had in the Senate, Senator DeBackus threatened if it reached there, he would name the frontage road the Stormy Daniels Rampway.
Yeah. Which got national attention.
It did.
I mean, CNN, New York Times, everyone was talking about how crazy Utah was again, right? And that's the one thing that always gives people here pause. People in power here pause. Oh, they think we're crazy. Maybe we should rethink this. And suddenly the bill faded away.
And it goes away.
I will say, Representative Noel saying it was too controversial. This is not a member of the Utah House of Representatives that shies away from controversy.
That is true.
I don't think he had the votes. That's just my prediction. I don't think if they actually put it up to the floor, it would have gotten through.
The Senate did not want to see that.
They did not.
And
true.
Yeah.
That was a good one to start with. Julia?
Oh, can we go to the ban?
Okay, yes.
On cities?
So plastic bags.
Yeah. This was.
You hate plastic bags?
The bag bill and then the ban on the bag ban bill.
So what happened there?
This was a measure from Senator Buxton, sort of in response to another bill from a Democratic senator wanting to ban cities from being able to ban plastic bags. Park City has a plastic bag.
Yes, they're the only one that's done that so far.
Right, so it was definitely targeted at one municipality specifically. And I mean, we saw some really crazy arguments last night on the floor of the House over this, like the slippery slope argument that if you start to ban plastic bags, you could ban plastic bottles and plastic pens and
straws.
Oh,
and it was for liberty.
Yeah, I don't know. It was
for liberty?
Well, and then it was really interesting to watch the debate then shift on the floor to local control.
Local control.
We always advocate for local control. Let's see, it was Representative Polson who said, we always want local control until we want to control the locals.
Great quote.
It was
That
really
is a great
interesting.
quote.
Exactly. That bill is a part of an effort by national interests who want to see things like plastic bag bans and other things that progressives are pushing for around the country stopped, and this is a way to do it. To couch it as we're going to make sure that there's uniformity. The argument that I kept hearing too was not only the slippery slope, but that it creates problems for franchise eateries, for example, or grocery stores or whatever, if they can have plastic bags in one store in one municipality but not in another. Somehow that's some huge issue. Although I don't know, I've never been to a grocery store that didn't offer paper or plastic, so you know.
I'm in public radio, and we have just a proliferation of tote bags that we give away during our fund drives, so this has never been an issue for me. But I can see, you know, if you've been raised one way and they say paper or plastic and you don't bring your bags or you forget them in the car, I mean, it's kind of a pain. But it seems to be the way that the world is moving, with more acknowledgement of climate change and things like that.
This is a great fund drive issue for you, Julia, right? You can't, the legislature doesn't want you to no longer have to only have the paper option. So we're going to give you the tote bag option.
Exactly.
Do it yourself.
Hinckley Report should get some tote bags too.
I think that's true because the bag thing might not be working out. Ben, one more bill that died that you thought was just interesting.
I am blanking right now on bills that died, but can we talk about the one that lived, the raccoon bill?
Oh yes, the raccoon bill.
It is no longer a crime in Utah to hold a raccoon.
Cuddle a raccoon.
That's
well,
right.
still an infraction potentially.
It is.
but-
It is. It was a misdemeanor crime. It was a one-sentence bill run by Senator Daniel Thatcher, and he did it as a statement about how Utah, the state, and criminal classification and all of these things. And he told me that really, shouldn't the penalty for holding a raccoon be just holding a raccoon?
I was off the floor out of the Senate gallery filing a story when all this was debated, and I came back and started looking at the tweets. I thought you guys were making that up.
No, we were serious. Last 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, the last 15 minutes of the House before Sine Die, a House sponsor of the bill says it's a misdemeanor in Utah to hold a raccoon. This bill makes it an infraction. And everyone just looked around and said, did that just happen with 15 minutes left to go?
That's
and
pretty amazing.
I mean, the Senate hadn't even passed the bill of bills yet. And, here we are debating raccoons.
It's hard to know
Honestly,
if
I loved it. Yeah.
I don't know if the Raccoons had a good lobbyist or a bad one based on
Yeah.
that bill. Thank you very much for your insights. Very interesting conversation.